Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the Mr. Douglass Sports Show. I am your host as always, Corey Douglas. And we are at the end of the NFL regular season. And despite this trying, just up and down roller coaster of a season for the Dallas Cowboys, they enter week 17 with an opportunity to go to the playoffs after Sunday's 37-17 win against the Philadelphia Eagles, which eliminated the Eagles and put the Cowboys in a win against the Giants and a Washington loss away from clinching the NFC East. And like I said, it's been a trying up and down roller coaster of a season for the Cowboys. But now they sit at 6-9 and they have an opportunity to get to the playoffs, which 4 weeks ago, I thought there was no chance even in a bad NFC East division. But let's go ahead and talk about Sunday's game against the Philadelphia Eagles, which personally I think that was the best game of the year. The Cowboys have now won 3 games in a row. They have forced 10 takeaways during that 3-game stretch. They are averaging 36 points per game during that same stretch, only giving up 19. So I think on the offensive side, Andy Dalton's playing a lot better. The defense is being opportunistic. They still give up a bunch of yards, but now they are taking the ball away, and they're putting the offense in some good situations. So on Sunday against the Eagles, I think you saw the Cowboys offense for the first time click on all cylinders. When you talk about good quarterback play, Andy Dalton, 22 of 30, 377 yards, 3 touchdowns, only the 1 interception. You have Ezekiel Elliott getting over 100 yards for the second time this season, 19 carries, 105 yards. And that Zeke is the Zeke that was close to the rookie year Zeke, the one that we haven't seen all season. He was running hard. It really looked like that week off really did him well, and he came out fresh. So I need another performance like that from him against the Giants on Sunday. But you had the 3 receivers. They all got in the action on Sunday. You started with Michael Gallup in the first half. 6 catches, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. The majority of that all in the first half. You have Amari Cooper, 4 catches, 121 yards. Then you have CeeDee Lamb getting the mix with 3 catches, 65 yards, and a touchdown. And he also added in a running touchdown later in the game that really sealed the deal. Then you go to the defensive side of the ball. You have Randy Gregory, who has just become a force as of late. He needs more snaps. Even Jerry Jones was on his weekly radio hit this week saying that Randy Gregory needs to be playing more snaps. They need to alternate Randy Gregory and Aldon Smith and make Aldon Smith the rotational defensive end. But Randy Gregory, a sack and a half, 3 forced fumbles with the 1 recovery. So all in all, what you got from Sunday's performance is the best performance of this Cowboys season, and it couldn't come at a better time. Like I said earlier in the program, they've won 3 in a row, and now they have a situation where if they win Sunday afternoon, they will have something to watch Sunday night when Washington and Philadelphia take the field, needing the Philadelphia Eagles to win that game. So with the recent play of the defense, forcing takeaways, holding down opponents to 19 points a game the last 3 games, there's a question floating around now that has Mike Nolan done enough to keep his job? And the simple answer to that is no, sir. No way. Mike Nolan should be back on this football team coaching this defense next season. I still don't believe he will, but I think this is a situation where I hope the Jones family isn't getting fooled into what this team really was. This team 3 weeks ago was 3-9, but because they were in such a weak division in 2020, they set up this opportunity to have a chance to go to the playoffs still at 7-9 if they win. But you can't be fooled by this because, like I mentioned earlier in the program, the opponents that they're facing right now the last 3 weeks have been Cincinnati with the backup quarterback, San Francisco with a backup quarterback, Philadelphia with a backup quarterback as well. So, no, Mike Nolan has not done enough to keep his job. Right. So because this is week 17 against the Giants, a division opponent, I have 4 things that I'm watching, and it's mostly just, I guess, stat related, just because, you know, as you finish off a season, there's certain marks that receivers want to hit, there's certain marks that running backs want to hit, and then there's just overall play that I want to see just heading into the playoffs if the Cowboys are so fortunate enough to get there. But number 1 is, can CeeDee Lamb get 1,000 yards in his first NFL season despite losing his quarterback. Right now, CeeDee Lamb is 108 yards away from 1,000 yards. So that if he has a big game Sunday, he could eclipse that. The second one is, can Zeke get 1,000 yards for the fourth time in 5 years? The only year that he has not had 1,000 yards to this point in his career is when he was suspended 6 games his second year. He is 63 yards away from that. So I think he should be able to get that against the New York Giants. And then I just want to continue to see Randy Gregory play at a high level. I think Jerry talked about it this week on his radio hit, where he just said that the way that they stuck with Gregory despite all the suspensions, despite all the off the field things with Gregory, they stuck with him, and now it's paying off on the field. Can he continue to play well and be a difference maker in this game against the Giants, against a quarterback, Daniel Jones, that likes to fumble when he gets hit? So I think there's a big opportunity for the Cowboys defense to force more takeaways and end the season on a strong note. The number four thing I'm watching is Andy Dalton. Like I said earlier, these last 3 or 4 weeks since he's come back from his concussion and dealing with the COVID situation he had to deal with, he has played really good football, and I think this is kind of what the Cowboys envisioned when they signed him on to be the backup. Those are the 4 things I'm just really watching. And for me, I'm going to be really upset because as you guys know, as you guys have been watching, I was on Team Tank for the majority of the season. Now that dream is dead, the Cowboys have to get in the playoffs at this point. You get this close, I'm going to be really upset Sunday night if I go to sleep after a Washington win. I mean, at this point, it's been a trying season. There's been a lot that's gone on this season, and a lot of injuries, a lot of turmoil, a lot of just questions. And I just hope that the Cowboys at this point, if they made it this far, I hope they can get into the playoffs and maybe even win a playoff game, which I think is unlikely. Alright, so let's go ahead and enough about the Cowboys playoff hopes. Let's go ahead and get to my NFL power rankings for this week. Number 1, I still have the Kansas City Chiefs, despite them struggling as of late. These last couple of weeks are the first time that I've really seen Patrick Mahomes look human. So the next time that we see Patrick Mahomes will be in the divisional round, because he will not play here in Week 17 against the Chargers. So I think they have some kinks to work out. I'm not sure if it's just boredom of the regular season because they're still 14-1, or if it's something to really be concerned about, but we will find out sooner or real soon. Number 2, it has to be the Green Bay Packers. They beat the Tennessee Titans 40-14, and I think Aaron Rodgers wrapped up his MVP season, only incompleting 4 passes, throwing 4 touchdowns, 3 to Devontae Adams. They are clicking on all cylinders between those two. Number 3 has to be the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen continues his hot streak, throwing 4 touchdown passes against the New England Patriots. Number 4, I have the New Orleans Saints, and what a performance that was by Alvin Kamara on Christmas Day. But I think Drew Brees is in trouble. He is looking like Peyton Manning from the year he won the Super Bowl in Denver. I'm not saying the Saints are going to win the season, but that's what Drew Brees is reminding me of right now with his play. Then number 5 is the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not sure what to make of the Seahawks. Really, the offense has really tailed off, starting with Russell Wilson. The defense has played better, but I think that has a lot to do with the opponents that they've been playing. That wraps up my final power rankings of the NFL season. KC number 1, number 2 Green Bay Packers, number 3 Buffalo Bills, number 4 the New Orleans Saints, and number 5 the Seattle Seahawks. And before I get to my NFL Week 17 picks, this is always a tricky week because some teams are resting people like the Kansas City Chiefs and Pittsburgh Steelers. Other teams still have something to play for, like the Green Bay Packers trying to clinch the number 1 seed. The Saints still have a chance at the number 1 seed. So I want to run down each playoff scenario to kind of just give you an idea of what's going on in Week 17 this week. So the Baltimore Ravens, they can clinch a playoff spot with a win, or a Cleveland loss, or a Colts loss. The Cleveland Browns can clinch a playoff spot with a win against Pittsburgh, who, like I said, is resting people. or an Indy loss. Those are the two most simple ways for them to get in the playoffs. Now the Colts, after I think what to me was a horrible loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers, when you talk about them getting up as much as they did in that game and then blowing it, letting Pittsburgh come back on them, they need some help to get in the playoffs now. So they need a win plus a Tennessee loss, or a tie with a Tennessee loss, or a Baltimore loss, a Browns loss, or a Miami Dolphins loss. So their road is a little bit more complicated. The Miami Dolphins can get in the playoffs with a win or losses by Baltimore, Cleveland, or Indy. And the Miami situation is really, really interesting to me because I don't think Tua is ready for NFL football at this point. And you saw it this past Saturday night when they played the Raiders. Ryan Fitzmagic had to come in again to save the day. And then the Tennessee Titans, they can get in the playoffs and they can clinch the division, the AFC South, with a win or an Indy loss. Then you move to the NFC. You have the Arizona Cardinals, who can get in the playoffs with a win or a Chicago loss. The Chicago Bears, they can get in the playoffs with a win against Green Bay or an Arizona loss. And then I've gone through the NFC East scenarios about the Cowboys. They can win the NFC East with a win and a Washington loss. The Giants can win the NFC East with a win against the Cowboys and a Washington loss. The Green Bay Packers can clinch the #1 seed in the NFC with just a win or a loss to Seattle, or a loss for Seattle. The Los Angeles Rams can clinch a playoff spot with a win or a Chicago loss or tie. And that's going to be really hard to do because Jared Goff is out, Cooper Kupp is out. So they will be shorthanded trying to clinch a playoff spot against the Arizona Cardinals. The Seahawks, they can clinch a first round bye with a win, plus a Green Bay loss, plus a New Orleans loss. That wraps up the playoff scenarios for Week 17. So let's go ahead and get into my Week 17 picks. And to kick off the NFL Week 17 picks, we have the Atlanta Falcons going to Tampa Bay to take on the Bucks. The Bucks are trying to clinch the 5 seed. I think they will take care of business against Atlanta. I have the Buffalo Bills over the Miami Dolphins. Give me the Ravens over the Bengals. Give me the Browns beating the resting Pittsburgh Steelers to clinch a playoff spot. Give me the Vikings over the Lions. Give me the Jets over the Patriots, the red hot Jets that is. Give me the Packers over the Bears. Give me the Broncos over the Las Vegas Raiders. Give me the Titans over the Texans. Give me the Colts over the Jags. Give me the Chargers over the resting Chiefs. Give me the Arizona Cardinals beating the shorthanded Los Angeles Rams. Give me the Saints over the Panthers. Give me the Seahawks over the 49ers. And on Sunday Night Football, the last Sunday night game of the year, give me the Philadelphia Eagles over the Washington Football Team. And with that pick, coupled with this next pick that I'm picking the Cowboys over the Giants, the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, the 7-9 Dallas Cowboys will win the NFC East and head to the playoffs, and they will take on Tom Brady next week at AT&T Stadium. You heard it here first. That's going to do it for episode 30 of the Mr. Douglass Sports Show, the last show of the year 2020. And what a trying year it's been for, I know, a lot of people around the world. So I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. And until next time, salute.